It's the new year, and you know what that means, because we're all wrestling nerds, which are the robot has been activated. It is time to look towards the end of 2020 and trying to figure out who is gonna jump ship. And that's even more interesting over the next 12 months, because it's the first full year that All Elite Wrestling has been in existence. And if you're sitting out there now going, Simon, shut up, nobody's gonna jump ship before the end of the year, you are living in La La Land, my friend. And while I'm sure it's great to live in La La Land, because there's pixies and, I don't know, Eskimos, they probably live in La La Land, you're not right. So I'm going to drag you back into reality with a big bump. And look, there's also loads of rumours and speculation out there already to allow you to start building a bit of a base. So as everybody loves doing it anyway, I think some of these people may be about to leave the WWE. Why? Here is why. Now, I'm sure there's going to be plenty more surprises than what we are about to talk about along the way, and I bet at some point too that someone actually jumps from AEW to World Wrestling Entertainment, and that is just going to blow people's brains. But also, let's do another curveball right here, because it ain't just WWE, it ain't just AEW who is looking to recruit more people. There's also companies like Bushy Road. They are, of course, the people that are in charge of Stardom, and if Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer is to be believed, because he reported that they are desperate to get back the likes of Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. And if you don't know, right now they both in WWE. Apparently they are willing to throw a lot of cash at this situation too, and I hope that he means that literally. So like Io Shirai is walking along the road and all of a sudden like notes and pound coins and dollars just start coming at her face, and she's like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And if one smacks her, she's like, well, I guess this means I have to go back to Stardom now. That's how I would like recruitment to take place. I don't think it's going to happen. And there is more to this as well, because it's also been reported that maybe, just maybe, who knows, but maybe Io Shirai isn't that happy. Because one, she is currently working more dates for NXT than she was doing before, and also not being as paid as much money. And two, she misses her fiance, who I believe is Evil, he of New Japan fame. And I totally get that. Even if you are living your dream and you've got a badass job and you're super happy with that, if your personal life isn't in the same place, you're gonna struggle. I know sometimes it's hard to believe that, like, oh, well, they're working for WWE, but really, you gotta always make sure you're ticking all the boxes. That's not ticking, that's playing with puppets. As for Kairi Sane, well, that is even more obvious, because how would you feel if you had a pirate gimmick and you were really happy with that pirate gimmick, and then WWE announced they were going to have WrestleMania 36, which was going to have a pirate theme, and then the people in charge took away your pirate gimmick? A little part of you would be like, are you kidding me? Are you trolling my ass? But also, she was a single star across the pond. She was a single star down in NXT. She is one of the most talented single wrestlers there is. And yet, for some reason on the main roster, somebody went, yeah, we ain't going to do much with you. And now we're just going to put you in this tag team. And also, like I say, we're going to take away that cool thing where you've got a wheel and a nice little hat. That is like me being hired by WWE, and very nicely, a lot of people out there think that's already happened, and that Vince McMahon actually calls me up and says, Simon, give this an up and give me a down. And yes, that is absolutely bonkers. But anyway, WWE then introduces a pay-per-view called Slaphead, which says, Simon, you're not allowed to slap your head anymore. Also, we're going to make you grow some hair. That is not on. This is just 2 drops in the ocean though, because Meltzer also said that there may be some interest from AEW in one Matt Hardy, and this does make a lot of sense. As you know, he hasn't done much of anything on TV recently, apart from lose some random matches, but if you go onto the world of the internet, he has successfully rebuilt his broken/woken Matt Hardy character, and I think, and I could be absolutely wrong, but I think he's doing this because his contract comes due in 2020, so when he leaves World Wrestling Entertainment, he is primed to go somewhere else. He will then have all the momentum he needs, and while you could argue it would turn the group a little bit comedy, can you imagine if it turned out the leader of the Dark Order was Matt Hardy? I mean, that has impact straight away, because again, he's flipping Matt Hardy, but 2, he is a major star, and if you have a major star leading your group, that group all of a sudden feels far more badass. If you're like me too, you know that you want more from broken Matt Hardy, and I can't believe WWE hasn't gone back to that. There is so much to that persona, and if nothing else, it's really entertaining. I scratch my head, and obviously, that's why. Much more obvious than this is, of course, Luke Harper, and the major reason I do bring him up is that recently he changed his Instagram handle to Brody Lee, which was his name before he signed with WWE. And don't forget, he's in his non-compete part of his contract at the moment. I think he can go again in March. So Shorty and Mark J. He's got to go to AEW. And that makes even more sense when we start talking about Marty Scurll. Now, I know he doesn't work for WWE, but his Ring of Honor contract came due, and while at the moment he's working for NWA and doing some other stuff with ROH, there was a picture circulating online recently with Brody Lee and Marty Scurll together, and wouldn't you just love it if they came into that company together as the new Villain Enterprises? And maybe that is why Marty is doing all these random dates at the moment, because he's like, look, I'll take my time, I will wait for the former Luke Harper to be ready, and then we can come in together and make a bigger splash. Then it's a big one, or at least one that gets talked about all the time, and that is, of course, the Revival. But it's much more different now. We're entering new grounds, because again, everybody is saying that Dash and Dawson's contract is up in 2020, and if you haven't looked at your calendar or your watches recently, it is now 2020. And you've got to imagine they're not gonna re-sign, especially because as of late, they have been used as nothing more than comedy characters, and they're meant to be a damn serious tag team. Also, if you do follow Dash Wilder on that their Twitter, on that their Instagram, or that their social media, you will know he has been very vocal recently about wanting to spend more time with his family. And do you know how you do that? You go to somewhere like All Elite Wrestling where their schedule is a lot less intense than WWE's. Makes sense. Also, on top of that, they have been teasing a feud with the Young Bucks for absolutely ages. And if Dash and Dawson do decide to re-up with WWE, you know the contract is going to be a minimum of 5 years, and I'm not 100% sure in 2026, there's going to be the same excitement for a Young Bucks versus the Revival. And maybe we get halfway through the decade and people are losing their minds because they want to see it so much. But the time is now. So yes, don't forget that these are all out there for you to dive into some more should you so wish, and are not just me speculating for the sake of speculation's sake. But if I did start doing that, you know who else may want to leave? Someone like Mojo Rawley. I always think Mojo Rawley has far more potential than WWE has allowed him to show, but also there's bigger stars such as Rey Mysterio. Now, my heart and my brain tells me that Rey probably wouldn't leave WWE now because he wants to make sure his son Dominic goes to NXT and probably becomes a huge star on Raw or SmackDown. But it is Rey flipping Mysterio. He's not like, the youngest pup in the land anymore, because Father Time will kick anybody's ass. Maybe he does want one final big contract elsewhere. And trust me, Mysterio in somewhere like AEW would be absolutely fantastic. Just think of the matches that you could see on American television week in, week out. Cody versus Rey, yes please. Kenny versus Rey, yes please. Chris Jericho versus Rey, but in a whole new environment, yes damn please. Also, Tony Khan would probably offer him significant money, and you know that Mysterio is a family man. He wants to be able to provide for his family. I'm getting all excited thinking about this, even though it may never actually happen. What a goofball I really am. Then there are the more obvious ones, even though people like to debate these two. For instance, Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, everybody says that Shinsuke Nakamura is very happy with WWE, and after, his pretty hard-hitting matches in New Japan, he's cool just to surf on the beach in his downtime and then have whatever matches WWE throws at him. But you never know, he may just see what's going on across over there in AEW and go, maybe I'd like to get involved. A lot of my pals. And then there is Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar's contract seems to be due like every other day, and then Vince McMahon rings him up and goes, hey pal, I'm gonna give you $7 million just to sit at home. And Brock's like, thanks man, because Brock Lesnar's voice doesn't really fit what he looks like. You think it's gonna be all gruff, but it's really high pitched. But if he is all about money, and Tony Khan, as we talked about, wants to give him loads of money too, maybe Brock Lesnar goes to All Elite Wrestling. And I know he doesn't really fit in given what their style is, but he is a superstar, he is a major name, he is really, really famous. You'd have to be crazy if you were to ignore that. And again, Mr. Khan, he's a smart businessman, he knows what he needs to do. I do think it's going to be interesting 12 months though, and while I think the most important thing is that the wrestlers are happy, that they're in good health, and they're getting paid well for putting their bodies on the line, well, I want to see what's going to happen. Look, you may have some other people in mind that you're like, there's no way that guy can stay there. Let me know. Come and tell me so we can keep this chat going until December. Then, of course, it'll be 2021. And in 2021, we can do it all again. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below, like I say, and let me know, who do you think is going to leave WWE for AEW? Do you think there's anybody in AEW that may leave and go to WWE? What about Impact? What about MLW? What about Stardom? What about New Japan? I want you to tell me, and you do that below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to What Culture Wrestling. Then you head over to whatculture.com, read articles, a lot of which will be about stuff like this. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE. Breathe. I'm well too excited today, clearly, and then watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Sane from What Culture. Thank you as always for watching the Why series, the video where we just slap our heads and ask the question why. Sometimes we play devil's advocate, and then that's lost on other people who are watching this, but I still appreciate it because, like I said, you've watched it, then we get into an argument, but we always come back together because deep down we got nothing but love for each other. At least I hope so. Otherwise, it's unrequited love. That's really sad. Shakespeare will write a story about me, which is terrifying because Shakespeare's been dead for hundreds of years. I feel like we've wrapped this up in a nice little package. Rey Mysterio to AEW.